We were told back in issue number 22 of Charles Soule's excellent Darth Vader comic that Mustafar was not always covered in lava. The final issue of that series gave us some very vague hints about what is now being shown to us in the VR experience Vader Immortal. There's a temple buried underneath the site of Vader's castle, and inside its walls we learn about what really happened to Mustafar. In the first episode of Vader Immortal, we learn that it was once a vibrant planet full of life. A Force-sensitive woman named Lady Korvax and her husband both lived there harmoniously with the Mustafarian people. One day the planet was attacked, and Lord Korvax died repelling the enemy. So Lady Korvax stole a Mustafarian treasure known as the Bright Star, believing it would grant her the power to bring her husband back to life. Instead, her selfish actions resulted in the devastation of the planet, reducing it to a lava-covered hellscape. When you read that 22nd issue of the Vader comic, we also see the history of an ancient Sith Lord named Momin who created a superweapon and attacked a planet until he was stopped by the Jedi. When he is reawakened, he notes that he is still on Mustafar, so I assume that means the planet he was attacking was one and the same. At the time, I thought that was implying that Momin was responsible for Mustafar's devastation, but I think I was simply wrong. Now I think there are a few options. First is that Momin may have been the attacking force that resulted in Lord Korvax's death, so in a way, Momin could still be the spark that set Mustafar on fire. He could have set off the events that led to the theft of the Bright Star. Alternatively, he could have attacked Mustafar well before any of that happened and was unsuccessful, and the death of Lord Korvax happened much later. Or the final option I see is that all the stuff with Lady Korvax happened early on in the timeline, and then Momin came later and attacked a city on Mustafar. Right now, I like the idea that Momin's attack was the one that killed Lord Korvax because I like how simple and efficient that is. But that seems a little off because Korvax's light sword seems old. I think it's meant to be much older lightsaber technology than what Momin had. But I could see a few ways to reconcile that as well, like maybe Korvax wasn't a Jedi and he just built his own design. Or maybe Mustafar was really isolated. I don't know, there are ways around it. The exact timeline of Mustafar's devastation hasn't been established yet, so for now I'm just enjoying the simplicity of Momin and Korvax's stories being closely related. But what about the future of Mustafar? Could we see it again, especially in The Rise of Skywalker? One of my pipe dreams for Episode 9 that I've stated before is for Kylo to visit the planet and take a walk through Vader's castle. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, and it would be a great way to tie the sequel trilogy in with not only the prequels, but also Rogue One. Molly and I were recently on What the Force podcast, and host Marie Claire suggested that not only would it be cool if Mustafar appeared, but were also healed. Vader Immortal takes place before Rogue One, so it's safe to say that even if we successfully return the Bright Star to the Mustafarians in Episode 3, their world is not healed. But what if returning the Bright Star is just part of it? Maybe it sits dormant for years until some other event wakes it up and begins the rebirth of the planet. It would be an awesome symbol for the healing of the galaxy, showing maybe just a sapling sprouting on the worst-looking planet we've ever seen. I love that idea because it's one of those things where that can just happen in the movie, and I think audiences would accept it without knowing exactly why it happened. But anyone who played Vader Immortal would be losing their minds because they do know. Honestly, I think all of that is a pipe dream. I think there's going to be too much going on in The Rise of Skywalker to even visit Mustafar as much as I'd like it to happen. But it was a really interesting discussion, and I'll link to the full podcast in the description if you want to listen. We're still waiting for the full timeline of what happened to Mustafar to be cleared up, but for now I think it's safe to say that Lady Korvax and her attempt to revive her dead husband was the true cause for its loss of life and devastation. Maybe Vader Immortal Episode 3 will tell us more. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.